Hi, everybody. It is, let me look, Wednesday, January 1st, 2025. Um, it's a bit nuts around here between the parade and the football game at the Rose Bowl. This whole area is quite inundated, but it's cool. It's one of those things where you don't mind the crowds and the noise and all that because it's tradition, as we would sing in Fiddler on the Roof. Its day started out, it's been a rough one on a couple of levels, though. Yesterday, a really dear friend, Rich Saputo, passed away. Rich was like a staple in our LA music scene. Every time we were doing concerts or anything, he would be there taking photographs. He was a really great photographer, and his enthusiasm for what he did was just infectious. He just loved being there, but he's had serious health issues. And yesterday, his body just finally gave out and he passed away. So I've been talking to a lot of people, and everybody's pretty, as you would say, bummed out that he's gone. But at least for what he was going through, he's no longer suffering with that. And then to also wake up and see what happened in New Orleans. I immediately contacted Judith Owen because she and Harry Shearer, her husband, they live in the French Quarter, and there was this terrible tragedy that took place with some psycho. They're calling it a terrorist act, but drove his truck right onto Bourbon Street and killed at least 10 people and injured at least 30 others, and got out and started shooting his gun, and they found pipe bombs, I guess, and everything. You know, you just want to celebrate. You just want to have just enjoy life as best you can. And then there's these monsters, these creatures that come onto the scene, and whatever their gripe is, they're taking it out on people who have nothing to do with whatever their problem is. Just innocent people that were out enjoying the New Year's Eve celebration there in the French Quarter, listening to music and having fun. And all of a sudden, this guy gets around. Obviously, the barricades that they put up are completely inadequate because they said he drove around them. If you can drive around them, they're not a barricade. I mean, it's as simple as that. It's obviously they were not well protected there. But so my heart goes up. But Judith wrote back and said, "Yeah, we were okay, but it's just like it's a nightmare for the community there to have had such a beautifully celebratory evening going on, and then this lunatic psychopath comes in and just destroys everything." So my heart really goes out to the New Orleans community and the people that have been affected by this, the families of those who are deceased, and for all those that are hospitalized, and God knows what condition they're in when something like this happens. So that was it. I was up this morning, though, real early. There's a lot of activity, so they were up I heard them start barking around 5:20, so I just got up with them and went out. And then at 8 o'clock, I was out in the backyard with them, and the B-1 bomber flew over the house, and then I looked up and they were skywriting, and they had all these planes up there doing a happy New Year's 2025. And then it went on. The sad part was, I was watching how fast the clouds were all moving in the sky. And so their writing didn't last too long before it all dissipated. But it was pretty neat. So I was able to film that, and I put that up as kind of my New Year's greeting, was just this skywriting up in the sky. And so, the day is, the new year has begun, and there's a lot of stuff to anticipate coming up. And, this is the time for these fingers, not the other ones. This is it. But I thought I'd start the year with some really nice music. This artist is a dear friend of mine, and we've been friends forever. And I've worked with him under all kinds of circumstances, but I've done, I think, 3 of his albums, at least 3 albums with him, but we still end up working together on other projects. And that's the great Herb Peterson. And we did this album back in 1984. and it's called Lonesome Feeling. My friend Ken also mentioned that I hadn't posted anything about the album Sandman, which was another album that I did with Herb. And I'll get to that one, it may be over the next couple of days. So we did this one, Lonesome Feeling, back in 1984. I'm going to read a little bio for you. And this is just little. This is what's here, but he is far beyond this. And goes so. Herbert Peterson was born in Berkeley, California, as an American musician. Oop, fireworks going off now. I hope those are fireworks. As an American musician, guitarist, banjo player, singer, songwriter, and actor who's played in a variety of musical styles over the past 50 years, including country, bluegrass, progressive bluegrass, folk rock, country rock, and has worked with numerous musicians in many different bands. Peterson often performs with Chris Hillman. Chris, the great Chris Hillman from the Byrds and Souther Hillman Furay, all kinds of stuff that Chris has done. And both were once members of the Desert Rose Band, which they formed and had really good success with. Peterson also fronted his own band called the Laurel Canyon Ramblers, which included bluegrass bassman Bill Bryson, writer and performer of the Crossroads Cafe song, penned while a member of the Bluegrass Cardinals. Other musicians and groups with whom Peterson has worked include John Fogerty, Mudcrutch, Pine Valley Boys, Michael Martin Murphy, Earl Scruggs, the Dillards, Smoky Grass Boys, the New Kentucky Colonels, Old and In the Way, Dave Grisman, Peter Rowan, Vassar Clements, Graham Parsons, Emmylou Harris, Skip Batten, Tony Rice, Dan Fogelberg, Stephen Stills, Linda Ronstadt, Chris Christopherson, John Prine, Jackson Brown, John Denver, John Jorgensen, some guy named Leland Sklar, David Bromberg, the Doobie Brothers, Vince Gill, Rice, Hillman, and Peterson, and Vernon Ray. That just barely touches the surface. Plus, Herb, I got to work with Herb with Country Gazette. Whenever banjo or any of that kind of stuff was needed on any of Mike Post's TV shows, Herb was the guy that did all of that. Herb has one of the best bluegrass voices ever. And his arranging, he's done a lot of arranging for bluegrass and country artists on their vocals, because he's just really great at it. But that's just a snippet of what Herb's all about. And I work with Herb on a regular basis. There's always projects he's working on that he ends up calling me to come down and put bass on, and we get to hang and stuff. So on this album, I'll give you some credits here. On this one, on acoustic guitar, banjo, and vocals is Herb Peterson, me on bass, Skip Conover on dobro, the great Hal Blaine on drums. It'd be nice to start the year off with Hal Blaine back there. Electric guitar is Bob Warford, fiddle is Dennis Fetchett, harmonica is Ron Rocket Lemire, harmony vocals are Joey Scarberry and Linda Dillard. Joey Scarberry did a lot of work for Mike Post, and he was the singer on Greatest American Hero. Mandolin is Chris Hillman, pedal steel is J.D. Manis, and piano is David Morgan. So I'm going to play you a few tracks from this, because I think it'd be a nice way to kick the year off here. So here we go. This one is called Easy Ride. Let me move my speaker over here so I can give you a stereo effect. So this is Herb Peterson, and the song is called Easy Ride. Let's get the damn downbeat.
It's an easy ride from good times to the blues. I've been driving that old highway, flashing signs to help me choose. Well, I know I've done you wrong. It didn't take me long. It's an easy ride from good times to the blues. Driving 99 and making time, all for the red ball line. 100,000 hours behind the wheel. With a little smile from you, my rig is running true. It took me 50 nights alone to make me feel. It's an easy ride from good times to the blues. I've been driving that old highway, flashing signs to help me choose. Well, I know I've done you wrong. It didn't take me long. It's an easy ride from good times to the blues. Starlight Cafe out on 64. The waitress said she'd offer more. The sun was going down in her life too. Strong coffee and a 10-watt lover, thinking about her wounds to cover. My early morning thoughts roll back to you. I've been driving hard, my wheels call your name. San Antonio summer love, how could it be the same? It's an easy ride from good times to the blues. I've been driving that old highway, flashing signs to help me choose. Well, I know I've done you wrong. It didn't take me long. It's an easy ride from good times to the blues. It's an easy ride from good times to the blues.
I can't tell you how much fun I always had, though, when Hal Blaine was playing drums. I feel so fortunate that I had Hal in my life. First met Hal when Mike Post was producing the band Group Therapy that I was in 1967, and we were too young and inexperienced to play on our album, so they had the Wrecking Crew playing on it. And it was Hal Blaine and Carol Kay and just all of those incredible musicians. That was my first exposure to that world, and it was amazing because I kind of thought I could never do this. These people are they're so cool. They're so like in the moment of what they did. And 3 years later, I was working with them every day. And, I did a lot of records with Hal and Larry Mahobrak and Larry Knechtel and Mike Melvoin and just all these incredible players, the Al Caseys and Dennis Budimirs and all of them. But Hal was always a joy to be in the studio with. His energy and his enthusiasm for what he did was something pretty amazing. So here's another one. This one's called Willow Garden. And again, this is the great Herb Peterson.
horses run beneath the sun. The devil now waits for me. For I did murder that dear little girl whose name was Rose Connolly.
Such a great bunch of players too. JD, man, is such a beautiful steel player. I always love doing sessions with him. All the guys involved in this, and I love the conciseness of the songs. They're just, just exactly what need be there. All these, there's so much activity going on around here. It's just crazy. Helicopters. I'm sure the blimp is overhead somewhere, watching down at the Rose Bowl and stuff. So, here's one called. It's amazing song titles and how things get misconstrued over the years. This one is called Childish Love, and it's Another Time. Let's see if there's any. I want to just check. It says composer unknown. Okay, I'm trying to find writer's credits here. Here we go, Childish Love.
Childish love.
Oh, yeah.
I could not hold. I thought your love was a line of gold, but you could lie a few short lines and tell your love 10,000 times. You left me in this world alone. Your childish heart I could not win. You tore apart. Childish love will always end. Oh, childish love that could not hold. I thought your love was a line of gold, but you could lie a few short lines and tell your love 10,000 times.
Yeah, he's just got that shit down, as they say. So good. I really have always loved every chance I've gotten, not only just to play with her, but just to hang with him. He is just good folk. It was really sweet. The day before yesterday, I called Linda Ronstadt to wish her a Happy New Year, and we hadn't talked in a little while. I was talked for about a half hour to her, and it's just, when I see her name popping up on things and I hear her voice, and I just think of so much history with her and how much she contributed to the music of the generation and of the world. I mean, she's still one of the greatest singers I've ever worked with. So it was really nice to talk to her and just catch up on things. More fireworks. But it was great. I really adore her. Okay, let's see. I'll do one more here. This is called Last Thing on My Mind. Let me see if there's anything I can glean off of this one. There's not a lot of. I know it's all in there somewhere. It's just hard sometimes to get this when I'm in the middle of it. Okay, Last Thing on My Mind. Herb Peterson, and the album is Lonesome Feeling.
It's a lesson too late for the learning, made of sand, made of sand. In the wink of an eye, my soul is turning, in your hand, in your hand. Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be not a trace left behind? Well, I could have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. As we walk along, my thoughts are tumbling round and round, round and round. Underneath our feet, a subway's rumbling, underground, underground. Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be not a trace left behind? Well, I could have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. She's got reason plenty for going. This I know, this I know. Well, the weeds have been steadily growing. Please don't go, please don't go. Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be not a trace left behind? Could have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind. Are you going away with no word of farewell? Will there be not a trace left behind? Well, I could have loved you better, didn't mean to be unkind. You know that was the last thing on my mind.
Herb's, I mean, his intonation is like perfect. I would always joke with him, I go, too much vibrato, Herb. I mean, it's like a chainsaw cutting through. There's no vibrato, which is really the beauty of especially the bluegrass, is you get those harmonies stacked in those clusters, and it is just bites through. It's amazing. That one was written by Tom Paxton, and the Childish Love was written by the Louvin brothers. Not seeing anything on the others here, but Herb, I love you, Herb, and it's really great to kick the new year off with the great Herb Peterson. So I'm going to wish everybody a fabulous day. Let's keep our fingers crossed and make this the best year we possibly can. And again, my heart goes out to the people of New Orleans that are going through grief today over this madness, and my heart is still just going out to, anybody who's like going through a rough time with this right now. So take good care. I'll be back, should be back tomorrow. And I'm going to be doing, I got my bass right here. I'm going to be doing some Lyle practicing now, getting ready for our trip to the UK. And then the tour will be following almost immediately after that, after we get to do biggest drag of there's no drag about going to England with Lyle at all. The only thing that I just sort of lament is that while the time we're there is when the NAMM show is taking place. And I love going to the NAMM show, not for gear, but for the social aspect, seeing people, that I know. But most of the time it's talking to each other on the phone, texting, whatever, occasionally a Zoom or some kind of FaceTime, but actually just getting to hang with them is hard. And then I got asked, Bass Player Magazine is having a big event during the week. And one of the things they do is they honor the musicians of the year, bass players of the year. And they asked me if I would induct Sting. And at first I said yes. And then the tour came up and I had to call them and say, I can't do it now. I'm really sorry. It would have been really fun to have been able to do that event. And Sting and myself, our paths have crossed a number of times over the years, and he signed my Frankenstein bass. And it would have been nice to do that, but you just can't be everywhere at once. At least the technology isn't there yet, but who knows down the pike. But for right now, Happy New Year. Enjoy the day. Enjoy whatever you're up to today. Be safe. So that's the main thing. Some of the worst was last night in terms of the possibility of catastrophes, but it's still people are out partying. So be careful. That's all. I just want you to be safe. So other than that, I'm rambling again. Starting New Year as a rambler. So that was a nice little car though. So I'm out of here. Bye.